Really, starting your own podcast and then having it be about you is the epitome of like narcissism. And hey, everybody, welcome back to the Squad Room. This is episode 9. I am your host, Garrett Teslaw. I am a patrol sergeant for a sheriff's department in Southern California, and I am the host of this project. The Squad Room is a podcast devoted to optimizing the physical, emotional, mental, environmental, and occupational health and wellness of law enforcement officers and first responders all around the world. Now, that's a mouthful, and that's a lot of stuff, so we tackle any subject that might improve our wellness and our commitment to ourselves, our loved ones, and the communities we serve. This podcast and all the podcasts in this series have 3 elements. Interviews with subject matter experts like you've heard in the last few episodes. Interviews with inspirational active duty and retired law enforcement officers, which you'll hear soon. And the topic of today's episode, a documentary of the show's host, that's me, and the applications and lessons that I'm learning through this journey and trying to apply them to my own life. Today's guest is really my co-host for the whole thing, and he's back. Traver Boehm, welcome.
Hi, guys. Glad to be back.
Yeah, we're thrilled to have you. We made it to episode 9. That means we're probably close. And episode 10 was recorded the other day, so we're ready. We made it to 10.
Progress.
Yes, baby steps.
Yeah.
So welcome back. Thanks for being here.
Mm-hmm.
Today's topic is, we don't really have a topic to it. I mean, we talked about goal setting in the past.
Yep.
And meditation was a topic, and we've talked about PTSD with Joel Fay in the last episode.
Yep.
Or 2 episodes ago, and Dr. Goodman in the last episode about the back and the back pain and posterior chain, all those sorts of things. So today's not really a topic-based episode in that sense. This is kind of a catch-up.
Yep.
Because we haven't seen each other in a while, face-to-face anyway.
Yeah.
And some good things, some struggles, and I'm going to complain about those on air because this is my show, and I can do that.
Excellent.
Right.
And we'll go through them.
If you want to complain, you go get your own podcast. This is about me. Really, starting your own podcast and then having it be about you is the epitome of like narcissism. And so nobody can accuse me of narcissism because I have to cop to it right from the beginning because you don't do this project without some sense of inflated self-worth. Anyway, so I guess we've come up with an idea or a title for today, and that is Better is Better.
Absolutely.
So that's something you told me last week when I called you from the throes of sleep deprivation and work and all that, and was bemoaning and giving you my litany of excuses.
Mm-hmm.
I should say my reasons. I don't like to say that they're excuses, and that's what I tell people sometimes on a traffic stop. I say, "Do you have a reason for running the red light?"
Right.
And they'll say, "Well, I'm late to work." I'm like, well, that's not an excuse. That's not a reason. That's basically, it's an excuse to me is something that justifies the behavior.
Right.
So your excuse is, I have a femoral bleed and I'm on my way to the hospital. Like, okay, you have an excuse to run the red light.
Absolutely.
Now, your reason might be that you're late to work, but it doesn't justify it. So I should be careful in watching my own language to myself when I say my reasons for why I'm not getting to the gym as much, why my diet sucks,
right?
That kind of stuff.
Okay.
So anyway.
And that's important even for people who are self-analyzing, of looking at things. Am I beating myself up? Or are there going to be a certain amount of stimulus? Are there going to be a certain amount of parameters that are just simply out of your control, especially as law enforcement, especially with your schedules, especially with some of the factors that are stacked, not against you, but you have kids. That immediately changes a lot of excuses to reasons. It allows for some excuses, but not everything is in your control on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. And that's a lot of what Better is we're going to cover. So let's go, just give me a little bit of a rundown of some of the challenges you had in the past 2 weeks, both environmentally, time-wise, etc. Let's fill people in.
Sure. So we're recording this in the beginning of July, so that means that school has ended for my kids, which means
big change.
Yeah, big change every year. Probably good for them, but of course means for us that we're now juggling different camps and different drop-offs and that sort of thing. So there's a bit of a change there. We've had some dynamic stuff at work come up that doesn't directly, or I wasn't directly involved in, but we had an officer-involved shooting that I am part of the aftermath of, in the investigation, and of course it's two people who I care deeply about who are involved and who are put in a situation where they never want to be in.
Absolutely.
And I'm into my third month of night shift. Okay. And you can tell, and you can't tell, but I mean, I can look at my history of doing night shifts and I can tell that by month 3 is right where I am right now mentally.
Okay.
I know that in month 1, I'm getting a little tired but I'm still doing all right. And then month 2 is, starting to feel the effects, but still doing okay. And then by month 3, I'm in zombie mode.
Right. Yep.
And
of course,
all those things that actually we're going to talk about next episode with Dr. Kirk Parsley about sleep. All those things happen all at once, come crashing down. Right. So motivation is done, gone.
Right. Of course. Yep.
And my focus for anything, off duty or not, right? Gone.
Okay.
Attention span gone. Unfortunately for me and my kids, my tolerance or my patience gone.
Of course.
Right. And it's I would be dramatic to say it's like a depression.
Okay.
But it's like
it's like a depression.
It's like
it is.
Yeah. I mean,
call it what it is.
You're grumpy.
Right.
You have no motivation. You don't want to get out of bed, and you don't want to do anything active.
Yeah.
So I guess in some ways, it's like a depression, right?
Absolutely.
But that's consistent. Yeah. And I know that by the time I finish my night shift, which is for us 4 months, we go back to days, I come right back out of it.
Right.
So
let's touch on that for a minute,
sure,
because I think that's really important. How would we categorize that knowledge?
What do you mean?
Like if we could put a label on the fact that now after doing this for 10 years, you know that this is the process. That is a big point for a lot of people that either aren't 10 years in or are 10 years in and just go, man, this is the strangest thing. Every 3 months on a night shift, I give up.
Right.
It's awareness. Mm-hmm. And that's a huge part of what you recognize now, but a lot of people that are listening to this may not be. And that's, you've obviously stepped back away from the situation, probably on day shifts, and gone, man, I'm 3 months into my day shifts and I don't feel like shit. So I want to just press the fact that having awareness of it and having awareness of any situation is going to help with better is better. Mm-hmm. If you don't know where your starting point is, our first episode, I think, was what's your A point?
Yep.
If you don't know where your A point is at the start of your night shifts because you're completely unconscious, you don't know your weight, you don't know what you're eating on a daily basis, you don't know how often you go to the gym, then you're not going to notice the backsliding. You're not going to notice why you've gained 15 pounds. It's just going to be you're frustrated, you're upset, you're angry. You now know through lack of sleep, lack of continual sleep, lack of sunlight, lack of proper dietary intake because you're at night and eating stuff that you shouldn't be, that these are the reasons why you feel this way. Mm-hmm. So just having the awareness is going to be really important. And so for people out there, take stock of where you're at. You may not be starting this huge fitness journey. People may not be going, God, I want to lose 50 pounds. But their starting point may be, I just don't want to feel this bad anymore.
Right.
So look around the room and go, all right, what is in the room? Oh, there's a lack of sleep over there. There's shitty food over here. There's no meditation practice here. There's no movement practice here. Take stock. And taking stock starts with awareness. So even if that's all you have, which we're going to get to in a bit, that's good. It's good that you can go, wow, I'm 3 months in. Why? Because now it's not something's wrong with Garrett.
Right.
You're not going, man, every 3 months of night shift, I turn into a bad person. It's not about you. You have stimulus that's coming at you. I've done night shifts, years of them, mm-hmm. for security, and equate them to being on a conveyor belt. So you're walking like in an airport, but it's not going the way you want to go. So if you're just standing still, you're going backwards because mm-hmm. all those factors are working against you. So you either have to figure out times that you can step to the side of it and do some work, do some prep, do some planning, or just know that all of your steps forward are going to keep you in the same place. Yeah,
you helped me frame that idea when we talked, and saying, again, better is better in the sense that I'm still improving by the fact that I'm not regressing.
Yes. And that is a huge, say that again.
I am improving by the fact that I'm not regressing.
Absolutely. That's huge.
And, I take some comfort in that, I guess, because like you say, it was survival mode,
right?
So, and I think everyone can relate to this idea of just, you go to work, you work at 12, you come home, you deal with the kids, you put the kids to bed, and you collapse, and you do it all over again, right? And that's not just law enforcement. That's anyone who works a job and has obligations, and Groundhog Day. And it's just like Groundhog Day.
That's the vast majority of the country,
right? And
the world,
and none of us want to live like that, but that's how we end up kind of going through life sometimes, and all of a sudden 2 or 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years passes you by. Right. So obviously part of this project is to make sure that I stop that right now. So, when we first talked, I think in one of the early episodes in our catch up, I had dropped 15 pounds pretty quickly,
right,
and was moving. And then that's of course when I was probably in month 1 of night shift at that time. And all those things come to I shouldn't expect myself to continue dropping 15 pounds every 5 to 6 weeks, given what the status of my work cycle is, right?
Absolutely.
So that, I appreciated when you said that, because I felt some outside validation to the fact that just maintaining is a win.
Absolutely.
And again, you talk about awareness. I'm also highly aware and highly sensitive to the fact that I would always gain my weight on night shift.
Good to know.
So
very important to know.
This is the time. I mean, when I got to the size that I was when we started this, was because of cumulative night shifts that I didn't counteract.
Yeah,
I let it get to me. Right. So on this round, at least, I'm actually still losing weight, just not at that rapid pace.
Beautiful.
And I'll take every pound or half pound for what it is. Right.
So not only is better in this point, it's not only keeping you static, you are actually progressing.
Yeah.
You are making money in a down market.
Right.
You're not killing it. We're not leaning on a Lamborghini.
I'm in penny stocks right now.
It's okay, but it's progress. And it's like you said, a year ago, you would have gained 25 pounds. Mm-hmm. Now you've lost 5. Let's call that a net 30 gain. Yeah.
I mean, in those 4 months of night shift, it wouldn't be surprising for me to gain 15 pounds.
All right.
So,
and how much have you lost in this set of night shifts?
20. Well, since starting this, I'm 20 pounds down.
Okay.
So I've only 5 pounds from where we were.
Okay.
But the positives on that, I mean, that's still 20 pounds, right? I mean,
and that's
20
5 pounds
in
a time when you were gaining 15.
You're right.
So that's fantastic.
So because I'm bad at math, I'm going to consider that a weight loss of 35 pounds and just give myself the extra 15 that I didn't add, right?
Yeah, I don't have a calculator in front of me. Carry the one.
Yeah. So that's a win, right?
Yes.
That's a positive, and I got to remind myself of that.
Right.
I got to remind myself that, hey, 20 pounds is still 20 pounds.
Right.
I mean, we're standing here. Our listeners can't see the fact that we're in a high-tech recording studio right now. And what I mean by that is my garage, surrounded by dirty laundry and all that sort of stuff, and kids' toys. I offered to let Traver play with the bubble lawnmower later, but he passed. Anyway, what is behind me are my bumper plates, right? Because I have a little bit of a home gym, like a very small one, but I do. I have two 10-pound bumper plates right here that I could pick up and walk around with, and I wouldn't want to do that all day.
Right.
I was carrying that around. That's 20 pounds.
Exactly.
And you told me to do that in one of the last episodes, and I did that. And that's a good reminder. I don't want to carry that extra 20 pounds.
Right.
And hopefully by the next time we record, again in our fancy recording studio, I'll be able to pick up the 15 pounds.
Exactly.
And I'm down 30 pounds.
Right.
So progress. Progress is yeah. Now I already forget how I said it, but just the simple fact that I'm maintaining is still progress.
Yeah. So Brett Jones is an instructor with Strong First, the kettlebell program that I use and teach under, had this idea, and it was to teach coaches, better is better. So a lot of times you take a CrossFit coach or a movement coach or a fitness coach, and they want to take someone from 0 to a beautiful Olympic snatch in one session, or some complex movement, and teach it to them all in an hour. Where that's not how humanity works. That's not how human beings work. So his point was, can you get your client to be better? Just a little bit better. If you have, you've done your job. And the transfer, I thought, with working with not just athletes, but especially people who are type A, especially people who are, I would imagine law enforcement breeds a certain type of personality.
Yeah, it's like type A plus.
Yeah, so you're used to constant, almost linear improvement, where you said, I lost 15 pounds in the first month. I did not lose 15 pounds in the second month. For a lot of people, that's failure. And for a lot of people, that's an excuse to then say, F the whole project. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Not only are they not looking at the incredible amount of external factors working against them, but this is life. Weight loss doesn't happen in a linear fashion. Your body has its own timeline, period. Weight gain, as far as putting muscle on, not a linear fashion. Deadlifting, you're not going to go up 20 pounds every 6 months for the rest of your life, or we'd all have 1,000-pound deadlifts who've been deadlifting for a couple of years. There's your own body's natural timeline, and then especially for law enforcement, when you literally don't know what's going to happen every night when you show up, which means when you get off shift, you don't know what you're going to have to process through. What did I see? Who did I experience? What were my emotions? What did I have to do physically? How much time did I have? How often did my cortisol get shot through the roof and then have to come back down? What did I eat? Who's at home waiting for me, and how's that going to go? What have I been eating or drinking on the weekend that's contributing to how I feel now? Am I on night shift? Am I on day shift? I mean, you guys have a million factors that at any one time could be juggled a different way.
Yeah, and I think I started to catch a glimmer of that when we started this, and now, especially after what will be episode 10 and the last episode with Dr. Joel Fay, who's a police psychologist. Highly recommend everyone check that one out because it's about PTSD and stress management, and then the vicarious stress on your spouses, right? This is like a holistic system. I mean, none of these things happen in a vacuum,
right?
And everything is related,
right?
Like, it's to use the hippie analogy about the earth, but we're all part of that system, right? But everything is part of the system that comes into me. All these inputs and outputs I'm getting are all related. My poor sleep is relates to how well I do my job or how well I parent.
Right.
And my nutrition affects how well I sleep.
Right.
And my supplementation might affect those things as well, or my focus or clarity. And those things make me a better or worse guy. It's all there, which can be overwhelming.
Absolutely. Because how much of it is in your control?
Yeah. Maybe half, if you're lucky.
None of it. Let's be honest. Very, very little.
Yeah.
You don't know if your kids are going to wake you up.
Right.
Screaming. You don't know if your wife's going to be upset with you. You don't know if you're going to sit in your car and throw your back out.
Yeah.
You don't know who's going to be on that next call you receive, especially law enforcement. You just never know.
Yeah. Well, all those things, those are all a crapshoot.
Right.
And not the point of this episode, but I think that's why I've gravitated towards reading more about Stoicism recently, and just controlling your response to the inputs you get.
Right.
And realizing that you can only control your response.
Absolutely.
And how you accept things either as the way and the obstacle being the way,
right,
or you try to fight a force that you can't affect.
Right.
That's another episode.
Yeah,
but we'll dive into that one some other time.
Yeah.
You'll be good for that one too.
Yeah. Oh boy.
So yeah, 20 pounds, that's pretty good. But I'll add too. I'd say that it's 20 good pounds, but also I think I told you this, that got a little tricep.
Yeah.
Look at that, right.
Yep.
That's starting to come through. But things like that, or every once in a while, I'll catch a glimpse of myself in a good angle. But I can see the muscle developing too.
Excellent.
And I can see a better form underneath the subcutaneous layer of winter fat that I still got.
Right.
So that's kind of motivating too, right?
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's very, very motivating.
Like you catch yourself in the mirror, and trust me, it's not all the time, and I'm not doing selfies in the bathroom or anything, but yeah, every once in a while you notice like the traps are stronger,
right,
and are more developed, and your shoulders are actually showing a little definition, and that's where I've noticed my immediate changes in my shoulders and traps and all that, and like, oh, okay, there's a glimmer. There's a glimmer of an athlete in there.
Yeah, definitely.
Imagine that, it's working.
Yeah, it's
you
working,
know what you're doing.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Imagine that.
The process is working, but it's
Right.
important. We are taught a lot detached from your body. It shouldn't matter how you look. Well, show me someone who doesn't care how they look.
Yeah.
I'll show you a monk. It's not true. I care how I look. You care how everyone does.
And it's not even so much about like caring what how I look to other people. I don't really care about that. It's how I feel in my own skin.
Absolutely.
And that makes you a better cop for sure because of your command presence. And
yes,
you will believe a person who's comfortable in their own skin before you will believe someone who's not. And we all can tell the people who are or are not. You just walk differently. You act differently if you're comfortable in your own skin, right? People see the dynamic guy at the party, who's got the whole room wrapped around him, and they're listening to his stories and laughing it up. And it's, well, you can tell he's comfortable in his own skin when he's surrounded by other people. Yeah. You know, and I'm like the kid at the junior high dance who's off in the corner, you know.
It's changing. It's changing.
It's not that dramatic. Yeah. Again, I'm a narcissist, so I don't want to be dramatic about it.
If you would tell me a little bit about this particular week, because I know this week was challenging, and maybe we can highlight some of the aspects of it.
Yeah, so
nutrition-wise, meditation-wise, fitness-wise, give me a little rundown.
So this is my second day off.
Okay.
I always say it's my first day off because I come home and we're recording on a Thursday, right? So I slept all day yesterday, so technically that's my day off. But
it's your night off, yeah.
I'm sleeping half the day on Wednesday.
Right.
Haven't gotten to the gym yet this week, and you know, again, excuses versus reasons, but I have a finite window of time available to me after work between getting off shift and having to be home to get the kids ready and get them to school.
Yep.
And every night this week, or every morning of this week after shift, wasn't done with work, had late calls, had some critical incidents, had a deputy that was injured.
Okay.
That required an emergency room visit, and of course, it's the government, so paperwork and memos and forms to be filled out. And that happened late in the shift, so you know, I didn't get to the gym once this week after work.
Okay.
And yesterday, I got up early. I slept a limited amount yesterday because I had to pick up the kids from camp because my wife had something she had to do. And so I was running around with them after wake up. And as is common, and I know other people experience this too, went to bed. You know, I slept enough to kind of function. And then usually on Wednesdays, which is my first day off, I try to go to bed at the same time as my wife, 10:15, to kind of get back on that day schedule.
Right.
And sure enough, dog wants to wake me up at 3:15 in the morning because he's having a dream where he's running in his sleep. And so he wakes me up, and my body says, oh, you've been up for 4 days at night at 3:30. You should be awake right now. And boom, all of a sudden I was wide awake.
Right.
Like I could have gone on patrol and been just fine because I was wide awake.
Right.
So then you do that downward spiral of sitting in bed going, sleep, sleep, sleep. Come on, you got to sleep. You only got a couple hours till the kids get up. And sleep, sleep, sleep. And sure enough, it was like 5 o'clock before I got back to sleep. And then kids are up at 5:30.
Right.
Wanting to play and do all that. So, just
challenges, real world challenges.
Yeah, right? Imagine that. I'm a real person.
Yeah, not a lack of motivation, not a lack of goals, not a lack of prep.
Well, that's the killer. Is this week I was highly motivated. I was super motivated to come in, and like you sent me the list of stuff, and I've been having a blast doing all that ollie lifting and stuff. And I looked at the workouts and thought, oh, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah,
I enjoy that, and I'm not doing it just for the physicality of it and all that. I actually enjoy going in there and trying to do a 1 rep max squat.
Yeah.
Or clean and jerk, you know, like you have me doing. So super motivated. Packed a bag of gym clothes and everything like that. And was ready to go every day. Just didn't get out of work until it was close to, you know, an hour after shift. And by then getting the texts, hey, where are you? The kids are up. They need some help. Okay, well, I got to go home.
Okay.
You know, and that's no one's fault. I mean,
nope.
It's just the way it is. Nutrition, blah. Not great.
Okay. Define not great.
Well, didn't meal prep this week or didn't even do any of that stuff. Just before the week, didn't take the time to do it.
Okay.
Figured I would do it on shift, and I would be able to try and make good choices by eating out. On shift.
How'd that work?
Okay, actually. I mean, I did make good choices when I could. We had a fire.
Okay.
A forest fire, or grass fire rather. Which, of course, here in this part of the country, everyone freaks out and sends the world, which is understandable. But we've have our history of forest fires here, and was fed what they typically feed on these, which is like high calorie rice bean stuffed burritos.
Okay,
so that was my meal for like half a day. Was eating these burritos, and then and just those were around. And honestly, I probably could have finagled around and made a better choice, but
Okay.
it was just one of those things where it's there,
Right.
right. It makes it easier. Breakfasts are usually pretty good.
Okay.
You know, I cook a breakfast for my kids every morning, or just for myself. It's either a protein shake or it's eggs and like turkey ham and spinach and whatnot.
Good.
So
Good.
breakfasts are solid. Like I never have a problem with breakfast. It's always snacks
Okay.
or dinner.
Okay.
Meal prep dinners or dinners at work.
Okay.
You know, getting to that 3 a.m. and realizing that I'm hungry and I got nothing to do, or maybe 1 a.m. because Taco Bell's closed at 3. I get to 1 a.m. and I go, I got nothing prepared, and I didn't have, quote unquote, didn't have time. So, you know, chalupa sure sounds good right now in my brain. I another awareness thing. I crave fat like crazy when I'm sleepy.
Okay.
Crave it.
Okay.
Like I imagine I know what a heroin addict feels like because I crave fat.
Yep.
Saturated fat. Like just mainline that stuff.
Right.
And yeah, I find myself over at Taco Bell, you know,
Okay.
shoving my face. Now I didn't do that this week, but that's pretty.
Okay.
It's not uncommon.
All right. That's off limits forever. Yeah. So I would rather you not eat than eat Taco Bell.
How'd you describe it to me?
I would rather you punch yourself in the dick than eat Taco Bell. Repeatedly punch yourself in the dick. It has less long-term effects and won't break down your self-esteem.
Yes.
But Taco Bell should not be consumed. It's
Yeah.
not food. I'd rather you eat the notebook you have in your car. Truly would. If you called and said, hey, I ate the notebook. Like, good job. Did you go to Taco Bell? No. All right. Better is better.
Better is better.
We're on it.
Yeah.
So what are some ways you think you could have combated the challenges of the week? One being starting with awareness that now you know. We talked a little bit about, you know, before someone goes out for a heavy night of drinking, a lot of times they put the Tylenol in the water by the bed because they know when they come home, they're not going to take care of that stuff.
Right.
Or they know they're going out drinking, so they give someone their keys. The part of them that knows they're not going to be making good decisions later takes care of that part of them. So what are some things now in hindsight that we can use and share with some listeners to say, like, all right, I know at 3 a.m. I'm making the shittiest choices of the week. How do I combat that? And going back even further, where were some of the errors? One of the things I think you said was, oh, I thought I'd sort it out when I got on shift. As opposed to now, when you actually have the headspace, awareness, time, and consideration to sort it out ahead of time.
Right.
Because what can you control on shift? When are you going, hey, you know what? I know I have 30 minutes. Period. No one can bother me. No one can tell me what to do. I don't have to react to anything immediately. And there's good food choices available, and I'm not hungry.
Yeah, I don't have 30 minutes on shift.
Yeah, I don't think.
I think that was your
you
point.
can just call in and be like, hey, I'm going to be off for 30 minutes, right? You guys it's cool doing that.
We don't have that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's something happens, it happens. Or a phone call, you always got to take that. So, yeah, you're right. Trying to anticipate in advance that I'm going to be like that. That I know that come Sunday morning at 3 a.m. I'm going to want a 7-Eleven carne asada burrito or something like that. You know, I've done good with meal prep, but I mean those are full meals, right? I mean, you know, vegetables or rice, a protein, and that of course takes a lot of time. And I think if I simplify a little bit and even just dumb it down from there and start, carrying pre-packages of healthy stuff with me.
Absolutely.
You know, every cop knows what a go bag is, right? I mean, we have a go bag of your ammo and your critical incident stuff, extra mags, extra whatever.
Okay.
I have a active shooter go bag. I have a forest fire go bag. I have a riot go bag.
Okay.
You know, different bags to respond to all those different things that you just grab and go, and everything.
Grab
you
the
need
bag,
is
you're
in
out
there.
the door.
Right.
Okay.
What I need is a nutrition go bag.
Excellent.
And
what would that look like?
Well, I think I think I'm just taking a gallon Ziploc and running out to the store and getting those, you know, single serving prepackaged almonds or cashews.
Yep.
I like both.
Yep.
You know, one of those, probably a protein shake.
Yep. Pre-made.
Yeah, probably. Yep. Yeah. Something
may not be the best choice if you had 2 weeks to prep for it, but nope, at 3 a.m., perfect.
Right. This is the equivalent of the active shooter. I need something now, and I'm going to make a bad decision if I don't.
Yep.
Right. So yeah, protein shake, maybe some beef jerky, I guess.
Yep.
Probably
turkey jerky, beef jerky.
see that salmon jerky? That just sounds disgusting.
Yeah.
I don't know. What else do you think I should have?
I'm not
there?
a big dairy person, but some cheese.
Mm-hmm.
If people don't react to it, I think you've listed the really good ones. Some nuts, even some fruit. If you know it's not going to sit in the back of your car for, if you're starting the week and you have 4 shifts in a row, throw an apple in there. Throw 2 apples in there. Throw in some more some dried fruit, even though it has high sugar. This is something better than fast food.
Yeah.
Throw some cut up carrots in there. Just something that you're going to eat it throughout the week.
Mm-hmm.
This is I just don't want to make bad decisions.
Yeah.
It's almost like a bag you'd take camping. Like what could you take camping? You can throw some M&Ms in there, throw some trail mix.
Mm-hmm.
Is it ideal? No. Is it better than fast food? Yes.
Absolutely.
Is it it's the bridge food that you're after, the carryover? But a bag of nuts, a protein shake, stuff you listed, and beef jerky, just those 3. Just that amount of food is going to get you through the night. If someone said, hey, you got to eat this or you can eat nothing, I'd be all over it.
Right.
Or you can eat this or you can eat Taco Bell and you're going to feel like shit tomorrow morning and you're going to completely...
Tomorrow morning? What are you talking about?
In an hour. Yeah. And you're going to derail all of your... Not only are you derailing your physical fitness goals, but motivationally, you just screwed up.
Yeah.
And that's crappy. And you screwed up a lot because of failure to prep. So,
yeah. And you're right. I think there's 2 issues for me there. One is I'm far from a perfectionist, but at the same time, you feel like you have to be perfect.
No.
And it's easy to kind of make that bad decision.
Right.
And then, I can't eat perfectly. I can't have a ocean fresh wild grilled salmon.
Right.
And steamed vegetables right now, so screw it, I'll just have Taco Bell.
Right. Throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Exactly.
It's all or nothing.
Again, better is better. So
right.
Making a better choice, which is still not the perfect choice, it's still a good, it's still a good
Absolutely.
choice. So,
how long would it take you to put 5 of those bags together that didn't have anything perishable in them?
Oh, no, less than 15 minutes probably.
Okay.
And see, when you ask that question, then it sounds silly that I would even resist that.
Yeah. So what do you think the resistance is?
I don't know. The go bag idea, that's just kind of a new thought, honestly.
Okay.
I tried to bring snacks with me, and I keep bags of almonds at work.
Right.
But, that kind of gets old. But if you have a variety in this bag like this, then I can get through that. And I have to look at it not as what food do I want to eat or what food would I enjoy right now, but what does my body need?
Right.
I was listening to something earlier this morning. Rich Franklin,
Yeah.
He was on a different show, and he used the analogy of, if you want your body to act like a Ferrari, you can't treat it like a Honda.
Right. Very true. Yeah.
And he went way deep on this, but he's right. And you can't do things like eating Taco Bell, which is equivalent of treating your body like a Honda, if you want to function like a Ferrari. And as an athlete or as a tactical athlete or as a warrior athlete, whatever you want to call us, I need to be treating myself more as a Ferrari, more of a Porsche guy, I guess, but whatever.
Or at least like a human being.
Yes.
Taco Bell's not made for human consumption, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Yeah.
It will not lead to a sustained human experience.
Right.
Over time. Look at what's the movie that Super Size Me? It's the same shit.
Yeah. Yeah. The Simpsons, you ever watch The Simpsons?
Yeah.
There's like those old Simpsons where they brag about a Taco Bell-esque place that brags on their commercials about USDA graded beef, but they don't say what grade it is. It's like, yeah, that's probably what I'm ingesting.
All right, so you got a go bag. So
I'll do that.
15 minutes. And one of the barriers, I think, like how do we get rid of the barrier to entry or remove any of the obstacles is get 3 weeks, a month's worth of whatever you're going to put in there. Get two big bags of almonds. Get 10 power bars or 10 protein shakes. Get enough of it so you go, the week starting, crap, I don't have my to-go stuff. I don't have time to go to the store. Now I'm out because I'm only buying 2 weeks worth every time.
Right.
So get some bulk stuff.
Yeah.
And that's just my to-go or my grab bag. It's just there specifically for that.
Yeah.
And you have no excuses then.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Well, I'll start that. I'm going shopping today. There you go. I'll work on it today.
Yeah, and walk around Trader Joe's, walk around Whole Foods, wherever you're going. Think, that would be a really good addition. I didn't know I could throw that in there. That would be a really good addition. And put some stuff together so it's not boring. It's not demotivating to eat. Where
Yeah.
even at the idea of Taco Bell is like, well, I'd rather eat that than another handful of nuts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, play with it a little bit. It should still be palatable and pleasurable.
Well, I like those things. It's just, you know, and for some reason too, like hot food is much more,
of course, it's appealing,
satiable at nighttime, you know, than eating cold food or whatever.
Right.
So, but yes, I'll work on that.
Good.
So that's been my kind of my front line, so to speak, in the last couple of weeks.
Okay. Any meditation?
Spotty.
Okay. Define spotty.
Maybe I should revise that and say almost non-existent. No, you know, I really enjoy it. So and I have enjoyed the practice. I'm not good at it by any means, but I do find the value in it.
Okay.
To me, it's just, again, finding the time or again, the sense that I have to be perfect or that it has to be perfect. So invariably on the days that I set my alarm to wake up early to do it, that's the day that my son decides to get up early too and come into the bedroom and wake us up and then wants to, you know, play or be engaged and that sort of stuff. And it's impossible to do it in the mornings with everyone here because I'm trying to sit there and be centered and I'm hearing, Dad, I want a snack. And, you know, he took this. And then the kids start hitting each other and crying and, you know, that is not a happy place to be. I'm not going to find my center when I'm trying to pull them apart like a bouncer at a bar.
Yeah.
So, you know, one thing that occurred to me earlier was I had gotten up to 10 minutes when I was being a little more consistent. So I had this expectation with myself that I have to do 10 minutes.
Right.
And I really shouldn't. That's not fair to myself.
Right.
If I can do 5 minutes, I can do 5 minutes.
Right.
And
if you can do 1 minute.
Yeah. And I can probably squeeze in a minute to 5 minutes. I mean,
you can.
Yeah. I mean, I can work it out. So that's been, again, spotty.
Okay.
A reason, not an excuse.
Okay.
I did try, after hearing enough people talking about it, I tried a float tank last week, and that was an interesting experience. I think here we have the only one between Los Angeles and San Francisco.
Oh, wow.
Which is, I guess they're still very rare, but I've talked to a couple of people who've done them, and they said it's worth trying, and it's kind of a neat experience, and Joe Rogan's the one I heard it from on his podcast. He has his own.
Oh, wow.
Well, he's Joe Rogan. He can afford one. Interesting experience. I mean, basically, for everyone who doesn't know, you sit in this big egg-looking pod that's filled only about, I don't know, maybe a foot with water that's saturated with Epsom salt. So it's super dense salt water. And you float. You totally float. You're weightless. Pretty crazy. And then you close the lid, and it's pitch black. And you're just kind of in this zone.
And the water's the same temperature as...
Yeah, water. So the air temperature, water temperature, and your body temperature all become one.
Ah.
So there's a very weird sense of what is air and what is water.
Yeah.
And whereas after, it's an hour, after you're in there for a while, it's kind of hard to tell exactly where your body ends and the water begins. That's one way to describe it. Mm-hmm. And you're totally weightless. It's trippy. I mean, there's no other time in my life I've ever been completely weightless, and that's very relaxing. So in some ways, it was like a nice, massage or spa kind of experience.
Good.
It was a long time though, 60 minutes to keep your eyes closed with nothing, no inputs when we're so used to our phones and
kids
and everything else.
The
earpiece. So an hour was a long time, and I think towards the end of it though, I finally kind of, dropped into it and was just kind of not only enjoying the peace and quiet, but kind of being able to slow my mind down.
Right.
And I plan to go back and try it again and see if that might be something to try every once in a while to kind of, shut everything down for a little bit.
Yeah.
It was a nice total sensory deprivation.
That is cool.
In a good way.
Good.
Yeah.
Stick on the meditation, especially for anyone listening out here. 5 minutes is going to make a big difference. 5 minutes continually every day will start to add up. And one of the comments you said is, I'm not very good at it. And there is no good at it. There's no bad at it. And it's hard to find a tangible benefit. Like you said, I can see my traps growing a bit. I can see my shoulders developing a bit. But with meditation, it's just blind faith. Mm-hmm. And it's blind faith to a point where you actually start to feel the differences or notice not what you're gaining, but what's not there. It's, oh, wow, I didn't react. Oh, wow, I wasn't as irritable with my wife. Oh, wow, I was just really patient with my kids when they were fighting. That's what you're losing stuff as opposed to gaining a superpower or gaining a strength. But the stuff that you're losing are a lot of the stimulus that are causing you personally, Garrett, to go off track. It's the frustration. It's the beating yourself up. It's the disappointment. When the volume on that gets lessened, then just being you becomes a lot easier. Then taking care of some of these day-to-day tasks aren't as challenging as well. So it is a huge practice. It is a huge importance. I think I said in the last episode, or one of the last episodes, if given the choice between fitness, what should you do today? Work out or meditate? I'm not sure which would be of more benefit for a human being. And I'm a fitness guy. I'm a movement guy. I have to move or I'll freak out. But after meditating for years, it's come to really sink into me just how important it is. And if we could get the whole country to do it or the whole world to do it, it would be a very different place to be. And people can do it. It's free. There is no barrier to entry. You don't need any equipment. You just need the discipline to say, okay, for the next 5 minutes, I'm going to breathe and center myself. And we talked a little bit about you guys can't pull your earpiece out. Yeah. You just don't have the option of, I'm going to turn the radio off. I'm going to pull over. Hopefully nothing happens right now, and I'm going to zone out.
It's always when it's going to happen, too.
Yeah, and 3, 2, 1, catastrophe. But you can breathe. So even if that shit is going on in your ear, even if you are in the midst of trouble, you can breathe deep into your belly and take 4 or 5 breaths and feel that calm wash over you. And that can be done all the time throughout your shift. That can be done every time you get off shift. Before I go check out or whatever your end of shift process is, I can sit down and take 10 breaths. I can pull into the car, into the parking lot or the garage at home. Before I get out and enter the world of wife and kids, I'm going to take 10 breaths. Before I leave the house to go into the world of bad people and traffic, I'm going to take 10 breaths. And these are just little bits of my partner Eric always talks about putting pennies in a jar or jelly beans in a jar, and you don't notice them. But 6 months later, the jar's half full. A year later, the jar's overflowing. And these are little actions that work to your benefit that cost you nothing, but will give you exponential results.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So far, my experience has been that soon after doing a session or 10 minutes, you're right that the time between the stimulus or the input and my response seems greater.
And how important is that as a law enforcement officer?
Oh yeah, immensely, and a father
and
too.
As a father,
it's
and a human,
yeah. So
and a human being.
Yeah, no, that has definitely been a tangible kind of ability to observe that space in between the two.
Right.
And yeah, like you say, that can go a long way.
Yeah. So even just the breathing we talked about. You said you had an officer involved in a shooting. 10 breaths. You guys have to make decisions that I don't. I have a bad day and someone doesn't get a PR on their power clean. You have a bad day and life can be lost or not. That's very, very different. So the attention of saying, okay, my job on a daily basis may require taking or protecting life. I have to be as centered as possible.
Sure.
I will take those 10 breaths.
Yeah.
I will just calm myself, center myself throughout it. It's as important as buttoning up your uniform and making sure you have all your equipment. So for people listening, add that in. Add it in, and then let us know what the reaction is to it.
Yeah, please. We'd love to hear people's experiences with it. We got an email just a couple days ago that I shared with you of
awesome.
A guy in New Jersey, and I don't want to name drop him without his permission, but told us about how he had just started the process, and that's awesome and heartwarming to know that people are trying it.
Yeah. This is good stuff. Self-care is probably not taught in the academy, especially for men. It's not taught in the Men 101. Hey, this is what you got to do. You actually have to give a shit about yourself. Women go to the spa. They get their nails done. They get their hair done. Us, we try to get our shoulders bigger by kicking the shit out of ourselves and make fun of people who are taking care of themselves. So it's a little bit of a paradigm shift that men especially, and I would imagine law enforcement, military, any of that background, we are not taught, hey, I actually have to take care of my body and my mind and my being, period.
Yeah, my experience with my academy was they emphasized physical fitness, obviously, and
Okay.
there was plenty of lectures about staying fit through your career, but there was never discussions. Well, I take that back. There were some discussions of what could happen if you're involved in a shooting or a critical incident or something like that. But there wasn't a lot of emphasis on it. But there wasn't there still isn't a lot of emphasis or focus on, hey, these are the detrimental effects over your career. This is what's going to happen to your body. You're going to get older, and you're not going to be this spry young kid in the academy anymore.
Right.
And you're going to lose mobility. And because you're wearing a gun belt, your hamstrings are going to get really tight, and your back's probably going to go out. So here's what you need to do down the road.
Right.
Or in service training, those things aren't addressed. Also, I mean, I would. My jaw would hit the floor if I went into quarterly training once, and they said, "Okay, today we're going to learn about the posterior chain and how." So everybody, roll out, grab a yoga mat out of the
right.
out of the corner, and we're going to work on the. I mean, there would be a mutiny,
right?
But
or 10 minutes of meditation at roll call in the morning.
Yeah, exactly, right? I mean, I think for the people at my department who know that I do this, I think they already think that's coming.
Good,
from me.
good.
Yeah, no, it would not an accepted practice in general.
Right.
But I do think that we're improving things, and I think that the younger guys are more open to those things to begin with.
Yeah.
And then the guys that are my age are just trying to find answers, trying to find anything that will help, are open to it.
Of course.
It's I mean, I was having this conversation about sleep and the importance of sleep with some of my guys the other night, and like, look, here's what happens to you. And I'm explaining all the bad things that dementia and cardiovascular disease, all the things that we know about being a cop that happen to us. But I'm saying, and we all know that we are highly susceptible to heart attacks, highly susceptible to cardiovascular disease and high blood pressure and diabetes and all those things. But there's never been a good explanation for it. And I think we're starting to see that it's a lot of those things are because of things like sleep and nutrition.
Right.
So I'm laying this out for them the other day, and they're half paying attention. And I said, but guys, because they were complaining about not sleeping well, I said, guys, you're pumping out more estrogen right now than testosterone because you're not sleeping, and that got their attention.
Right. This will help your sex life. Yes. Oh wait, I'm sorry. What was that?
Yes. That certainly piqued their interest, and then they were all ears, and and I was able to tell them. So it's improving, but yeah, it's definitely not. It's not something that they go into the academy and they say, okay, you guys need vitamin D supplementation because you're not going to see the sun for 4 days a week, that kind of thing.
Right.
So,
well, good. I'm glad we're getting it out there.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to cover? Anything else happened the week you want to go over? Or anything in the upcoming week that you think is going to be a challenge?
It's I don't know. Every week this week every week right now is a challenge.
Okay. And you have how much longer on night shift?
A month.
Okay. What are 2 things you can do to mitigate the negative effects of night shift that you haven't done up till now or that have fallen on the wayside?
Can I count the go bag as one of them?
Yes.
All right, so we're going to do that nutrition go bag. Right?
Okay.
That's an easy one and a good one.
Yep. And how often do you have to do that? Every week?
Like
how often do you want to put one together? Do you want to put 2 together? Let's get it. No,
I like your idea that I could probably do a month of them at a time.
Yeah.
And then just store them somewhere.
Okay.
Probably here in the fancy recording studio.
Yeah.
And just have them to go.
Okay. Perfect. So it's part of you grab your uniform.
Mm-hmm.
What do you leave the house with to go on shift?
Usually just a kind of a change of clothes for the gym.
Okay.
And a couple of small items and usually a cooler of food and stuff.
Bam, it's in the cooler.
So if it goes in the cooler every day, then that's easy.
Okay. And I don't know enough about your situation. Do you guys have a locker that you're at work? I would say start of every week of shift, throw 3 or 4 of those bags in there, the go bags. So if you get there and go, oh shit, I left all my food at home.
Which happens,
boom,
yeah.
Grab it. Happens to everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll bring those. And then, I think the very least thing, like I said, I've gotten off shift late and then skipping the gym.
Okay.
So what I need to be doing, I think, if I'm going to skip the gym, because sometimes you just have to.
Right.
If I'm skipping the gym, I want to at least take those 10 minutes, even if it's in the car, and do 10 minutes of meditation.
Okay, good.
And I can always afford that.
Yes.
And
so something in your self-improvement plan has to happen, even if the gym's out the window. It's like, all right, I'm not going to make it to the gym, then I'm definitely going to do X, Y, and Z that are in the other areas. Yeah.
Or another thing I could do is spend some of that time meal planning.
Yes.
Planning my menu.
Right.
Which I could be much better at.
Okay.
So those are probably the two things I'll call are my backups for
Okay.
if I don't make it to the gym. I have an expectation of myself to meditate
Right.
for at least 10 minutes. If for some reason that doesn't work, 10 minutes of planning my meals for at least that day
Okay.
and journaling those meals.
Okay. And you can always hit some squats in the garage. You can always do some kind of movement just to let your body know that it's still in the game.
Yeah.
If it's stretching, if it's yoga, if it's push-ups and sit-ups, just something that you get a little bit of, move your chi, man. It's been sitting in a car all night most likely, and it'll appreciate it.
Yeah.
If you get some movement in.
I tend to lose my chi if I don't keep it on me. I think, too, this would be a good point. This is a good episode to talk a little bit too about, some of the conversations we've had or some of the input that we've received from people. And I mentioned our friend in New Jersey, and I've gotten other emails from people too that are valuing what we're putting out.
Good.
Which is fantastic, right?
Yeah.
And that's the whole point of this. The whole point is to kind of share some of this information, maybe get people to see things in a different light.
Yeah.
So, I joke about being a narcissist, but I'm humbled by the reception we've gotten. We
Me
passed
too.
2,000 downloads
Excellent.
this week, which, we're not. Joe Rogan's not going to get scared, or Tim Ferriss or Adam Carolla. They're not going to be worried about us taking the #1 spot on iTunes. But that's fine. That's not at all the point
Right.
about this. We're
Right.
a very specific and niche audience within an audience. I mean,
Right.
we're looking at police officers, but not just police officers, or I should say corrections and first responders, and all those people too. But we're an audience within that audience, and so I know we're small, but this is fantastic. I never really thought at episode 7 that we were at when we passed 2,000 downloads that we would do that. But we've gotten some great people on the show who are super supportive of law enforcement,
Definitely,
and know the challenges and know that that we have struggles that are kind of unique.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a lot of great upcoming episodes too. So appreciate everybody's support, and we love getting the emails and
Definitely. They're fantastic.
Twitter, the tweets, and all that sort of stuff. And, it's been really neat to kind of to see that response from people.
Yeah. Thank you guys who have emailed us, and those of you who are helping us share this information and help us get out. Share these episodes. Tell your friends. If you learn something, pass it on. This is all knowledge based. We're not making money on it. We just want people to use these tools and help themselves.
Yeah. Again, better's better.
Better is better.
The fact that I'm not regressing, or the fact that you out there, if you're maintaining, you're doing a good thing. You're getting better, and we all have to accept that we're going to have challenges, and we're going to have inputs we can't control, and we just are going to have to deal with those.
Right.
It shouldn't set us back 100% or even 1%. We should know that is going to be part of the process. That's hard for me to understand and accept, that it's just part of the process.
Yep. Peaks and valleys.
Peaks and valleys. Every day is not going to be a perfect hit the gym, accomplish everything on my to-do list, and
30 minutes of meditation, perfect organic food.
Exactly. And be a awesome, perfect father every time,
Right.
on top of all those other things. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
Everything is a give and take, and we have to be okay with that.
Yeah. Go with the fluidity of it. Definitely.
And every day, better is better.
Better is better.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, episode 9. There you have it. Remember, better is better. And if we weren't clear what we meant by that today, we just mean that any progress is progress. We have to accept the fact that we're going to have obstacles, because they're always going to be there. We're never going to have a perfect week. We're never having a perfect month. There's always going to be something that comes up to throw a wrench into our well-laid plans. Simple diet changes, simple sleep changes, simply getting to the gym, not even getting to the gym, just simply getting home and doing some air squats in the driveway. As goofy as that might look for your neighbors, might be the only thing you have an option for, but still, it's better than nothing, and better is better. My only goal this week is to be better than I was yesterday. And if I can achieve that, then I think I've had a successful week. Follow us at The Squad Room on Twitter, or at The Squad Room on Instagram. Give Traver a follow on Twitter. He's Traver Boehm, at Traver Boehm, TraverBoehm. He'll drop some knowledge out there to you. Shoot us an email if you have a show idea, you want to let us know what your struggles are, what your challenges are on a daily basis. We want to know those things so that we can commiserate with you, but also understand what things you guys might like to hear in future episodes. Our email is squadroompodcast@gmail.com. Shoot us an email just to say hi, even let us know what you like or don't like. And of course, if you like the show, please leave a review on iTunes for us and let us know what you think and tell the world. It really does help the show. All right, next week up is Dr. Kirk Parsley, former Navy SEAL, sleep specialist. He's going to drop a ton of information on us about the importance of sleep and why that might be the missing link in all of our wellness and health and fitness goals that we are not focusing on is sleep. So check that one out. Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a safe week and take care of each other.